So Demon Slayer Season 3 just concluded and I think it was pretty good. Now, I've always praised the anime for being 10 times better than the manga. Not many animes can say that, but I think Demon Slayer is a huge example of how to do it correctly. Automatically, you expect some high quality stuff when you hear of a new Demon Slayer season. However, the last 2 seasons were set on a pretty high pedestal, so critiquing it becomes way harder since we've set it to such a high standard and we start to nitpick at little things. But thankfully, this season did not disappoint. The animation was stellar and beautiful, well, most of the time. The new characters are all interesting and likable. The action sequences and the backstories of the characters are the best part of the series, and overall, this season was just very enjoyable. However, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have its problems. We'll have to talk spoilers if we want to get into it, so if you don't want to get spoiled, I suggest you guys skip to this timestamp for the rating. So, the things that I didn't like the 2 upper rank demons from this season. They're interesting in concept and design, but are pretty forgettable, especially the pot upper rank demon. It could be because he was up against Tokito, who's meant to be one of the strongest Hashiras in the entire series, but they made him seem super weak, especially for an upper rank demon. Even in the manga, they were still pretty forgettable, and when I saw the first episode, I completely forgot was supposed to be rank 4 and 5R. I didn't even care for the backstory of upper rank 4 since it was just in the middle of an intense chase scene. I felt like it should have just been cut out entirely, and they didn't even give upper rank 5 a backstory. When it comes to the intensity and the presence of these upper rank demons compared to the last seasons, it's a huge step down. I also hated every chase scene with this like little demon just running around. And I don't know about you guys, but I felt like the finale just came out of nowhere. I still felt like there was gonna be like another 2 or 3 episodes coming out after episode 10. And I know a lot of people had a problem with the finale being lackluster, but I thought it was fine. Especially when you had probably one of the most important reveals in the show. And another major complaint that I'm hearing is the story and the plot being really simple and repetitive, which I can understand where they're getting at, because this season and the last season were basically the same in concept. Tanjiro visits a new place, they interact with a Hashira, in this case 2 Hashiras, and then they go ahead and fight an upper rank demon. It's a simple formula and not much thought was into it, but it doesn't have to be, since this series is mainly focused on developing its characters and just animating a really crazy action sequence. So I think it's fine to sacrifice a bit of the plot if it's going to improve on everything else, and thankfully for this season, it did. The action sequences were beautifully animated and intense at points. The only real dud was the upper rank 5 fight, except for the flashback and the Slayer marking. The CGI and the fight scenes were actually really smooth. Demon Slayer is the only anime that I can say can make CGI action scenes work. While you have series like Attack on Titan using it for the background of the action scenes, Demon Slayer uses it for the action itself, which again is used really smoothly. Well, until you reach the CGI fish, of course. The characters other than upper rank 4 and 5 are all great, but I thought I was gonna hate Genya because at first he does seem like another Bakugo cliche, but the more we saw of him, the more I started to tolerate him, and I really liked his backstory as well. The 2 Hashiras are both really likable, and other than Rengoku, I believe are the best Hashiras that we've met so far. I liked watching Tanjiro grow stronger and training with the doll. Nezuko had one of the best reveals in the whole show, and this is a hot take, but I am super glad that Inosuke and Zenitsu aren't in this season. Inosuke I can tolerate, but Zenitsu, I've made it publicly known that it is my least favorite character in the series. I know he gets way better later on, and they do show a glimpse of that in the finale where he's using his normal voice to teach Tanjiro about thunder breathing, but the whole first season was ruined for me just because of Zenitsu's constant crying and being annoying. Muzan is still a great villain and his backstory is super cool, but the main reveal of upper ranks 1 and 2 is not only the craziest scene in this whole season, but it probably has one of the greatest cinematic scenes in this whole series. Overall, I believe this season was really good for what we got. With this spring season being stacked with a ton of great series, this season feels a little bit left behind in a way. It's definitely one of the top animes of spring, but I've never really had a feeling of needing to watch the next episode. It improves on all the aspects that you expect in a Demon Slayer season, so I'll just be giving this season a good 8.5 out of 10. But what are your guys' thoughts on Demon Slayer Season 3? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? Let me know everything in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.